Right guys, it's going to be a solo 1080 Master Nightfall, getting the Platinum rank without the use of any pinnacle weapons or Hive/raid mods. For those that just want to see this, then skip to time on the screen. First, I can quickly show you what I had on and what I was using. Like I said, we're not going to be doing it without any pinnacle weapons or raid mods. The reason for the raid mods is because they're going to get sunset, they're not going to exist. Hive mods will not exist anymore. This Nightfall will not exist either. But I want to do it without it for myself because I'm playing without Hive mods or any mods at all, like raid mod wise. Plus, anybody that doesn't have any of the mods, right, they can use this video for the information. If you have the Hive mods, you may as well put them on just to help out your run. But if you're somebody that doesn't have them, you can still do it. Mods are Martyr. Basically, the curse for all have more HP. Champions unstoppable, anti-barrier. Chaff no radar, equipment locked. Match game, champions mob, and Savathun's dirge, which basically means don't jump. Income void and aerial damage is increased by a lot. So try not to jump, which we'll talk about in the run. Like I said, I'm on a Titan. This is the first video of the week. We're going to be on a Sunbreaker bottom tree with Thermite Grenade, Tower and Barricade. We pair that with the exotic boots Phoenix Cradle, which doubles some warrior perk. I'll talk more about all what I'm going about in the run itself, but this is just me detail on what I've got on. In terms of weapons, we have the Seraph auto rifle, which generates missiles. We have a void hand cannon on. Any void hand cannon that you want to use, you can use. You can run a double primary setup different to what I did. You could have, the different type of auto that you wanted, or you can run a auto in this and then the officer revolver, the hand cannon. So whatever you want to do, you can really, but this is just what I happen to have on. But having a weapon that generates cells is really handy for what we're doing. Then we've got the exotic machine gun Xenophage on for damage, champs and all that. As for our mods, I'll just detail what we've got on. We've got double machine gun ammo finder with high energy fire, countercharge and shield break with a large arm reserves, concussive dampener, a boss resist, large weapon loader, global reach, a heavy ammo scavenger, traction, concussive dampener again. That's 3 concussive dampeners in total. Wrath of Rasputin and a heavy finisher, which is a seasonal mod. Okay, but that's the build. Okay, so on with the run. So like I said, this is Savathun's song, which will be the last time we see this Nightfall, as there's only a couple more weeks till the new expansion comes out. So it's the last time we're going to be running a Savathun song. I might do other classes this week, but this last week we'll ever see this Nightfall, and this is probably, in my eyes, one of the best strike/Nightfalls that there is in the game. But it's got to go what have you with the planet. So with this start bit, we went to the tribute hall and loaded in with max ammo because we don't have armaments on right now. So ammo is not. We're not going to be able to spam. I mean, we do spam our heavy quite a lot because of heavy finisher, but we just started the activity with full ammo. So we're starting on a good foot. Now we've got a cell there, so we destroyed that. There was only one acolyte still left alive, which got me weak. So it is noticeable. I mean, I generally run Savathun song with high barrier and the concussive dampeners and whatever else I've got on. So you're fairly tanky. I'm fairly tanky in this Nightfall. Not so much now because we haven't got that high barrier, which is 20% damage resistance. So you feel it with this first section. We just have Xenophage on it as unlimited range, so we can spawn kill the wizard above. Once we've done that, we're going to use the bottom tree Sunbreaker's effectiveness by doing a nade at our feet and standing in the sunspot. Important that you stand in the sunspot to get its benefits. If you don't, the sunspot will run out pretty quick, and you won't be able to spawn kill most of the thrall. Speeds you up a little bit. If there's any thrall hiding, we can take those out quickly, and then what we're going to do is come to this location here, and you want to try to get the shield on the first champion as quickly as possible, and then what you want to do is burn that champion down, because what that allows for is a cell to be destroyed as well, because you're guaranteed a war mine cell when a yellow bar is killed, which, you know, champions are classed as that. So you'll get a war mine cell if I kill guaranteed with either Xenophage or my auto rifle, which means we can clear out all those ads. So we've not only cleared out the first champion fast, we've cleared out all the ads surrounding it, which is really good. Now with the modifier Martyr, you're going to notice that the cursed are going to take a while, longer than usual to take down, but it's not a big deal, this modifier. Also, we're going to make use of our Phoenix Cradle build. I mean, we can't really invest so much into it because I'm having to use Concussive Dampeners, so I haven't got a max discipline build on or something like that. But it's more important to survive rather than having max discipline. Okay? Just because we haven't got that high barrier on. But we're playing like this because this is how it's gonna be after November in endgame stuff. You know, because the Ordeal Nightfall system is still gonna be around. Okay? We're still going to have Grandmasters, we're still going to have Masters, we're still going to have all this stuff, so this is more attuned to what we're going to have to sort of play like. Granted, I've got a heavy finisher on, which I don't know what's going on with that, whether they're going to have that a thing, which I think they could have this as a static mod like special finisher. I don't see why they couldn't. It is half your super, but supers aren't that useful Roman supers in endgame content, so I don't know what they're gonna do, but like I said, this Nightfall's getting sunset anyway. The one nade and a melee took out all those thrall. We're gonna activate the door, get a stop, do 1 or 2 shots, but we're gonna back up because the knight's wreck. We want to use this cell from earlier to take out the remaining thrall that are spawned in via the last door. So that's what I was wanting to do with that. It's important that we do back up as well, because if the 2 knights and the knight, the ogre, if they all get an angle on us, they can spawn kill us. So that's why we back up like that. We did get a cell there, but the cell, it's more important to get the angle right now. I'm not too bothered about that cell over the other side, as we're going to get another cell right now anyways. I'm never killing the champ with the hand cannon, because the hand cannon isn't classed as a war mine weapon, whereas the Xenophage and the auto rifle is. Okay, so it's always better. We've got vorpal weapon on our auto rifle anyways. As you see, it's relatively easy to take the champ out in terms of damage because we have high energy fire counter charge on. What the hardest thing would be for somebody who's first time soloing this, or maybe they've soloed legend but they're now going to do a master, is strafing the knights and avoiding their attacks. But this is where the concussive dampeners in. That's why I would always say put on concussive dampeners on over recovery, over discipline, over any other stat. I know it sucks because people like to have, you know, max recovery, max discipline and all that stuff, but when we're in this endgame stuff and we're not using, you know, high barrier and stuff like that, concussive dampener wins all the time, and it's only 1 energy, which means we can invest so much energy into other things. Obviously we've got Rasputin on to make this happen, and not only that, we have global reach. We need those 2 mods on together in order to get the cell. We can get a one-man cell off our nade and our melee ability, I believe, as well. I think the melee can do it. Like, I've seen me generate a cell while I've been in a sunspot, meleeed an enemy, and I've got a cell that way. It's any solar splash damage, and it's not just the Titan that can do it. I've seen me do it on a solar hunter. Like generate a cell via a swarm nade. I done that, so there's various ways of doing it with the solar splash damage. In this next section, we're going to have a bunch of acolytes and 1 void wizard in the middle. You've seen that I haven't got any arc on. Reason for that is because void is more important than arc. This Nightfall, when it first came out in year 1, so it would be 2017, it had a bunch of arc shields. All the arc shields have turned into champions. So we don't have much need for arc. There is 2 arc knights that give me issues. But after the 2 arc knights, that's fine. But Xenophage can sort of deal with match game shields anyways, which you'll see that. So we took out the wizard, now we can take out the remaining acolytes. It's important that we take out all acolytes before we go to pick up the orb, because when we pick up the orb, that opens the shrieker. When the shrieker's open, that's a, a dangerous part. If we're not in cover. What we're trying to do also is build up a kill count for cells all the time. So for every 5 kills, you are guaranteed a cell. So we can leverage this by getting cells when we want to get them. We have a cell standing right there. We pick up the orb, and we can do that to take out a couple of the ads down below. What can be dangerous about this part is if the shrieker gets an angle on you while you're trying to take the knight. So you need to take an angle on this knight. This knight is important that you burst this knight down. So don't be frightened to use a lot of your heavy. This is why we've got a heavy finisher on. Take the shield from back here, and then we can just spam. Now I was quite a bit of distance from that knight, so having the highest range stat on your auto rifle is the most important thing over perks. I mean, if you've got a god rolled auto with max range, then that's a plus. You know. If you have, say, the Grey Tech auto from the forest with 4 times the charm and Vorpal weapon, then that'll be amazing, but it can't make cells. So as you saw from there, we want to get the dunk when the shrieker stops shooting. That's easy to get if you do die by that shrieker, because what happens is when you go to dunk the cell, your feet sort of raise off the floor and it classes you as jumping. Meaning that the shriekers do even more damage because of the modifier incoming, void and aerial damage increase. So it's possible that even one shrieker can kill you if you don't time it correctly. This is more important when we get to the double shrieker dunk. But for the first one, if you die and the shrieker kills you, that's fine, you've got checkpoint. The modifier extinguish isn't on, so it doesn't matter. We're not interested in flawless on this run. What we're interested in on this run is somebody coming in, getting the run done without pinnacle weapons, raid mods. That's why I have that in the title. It's not the flawless run, because if I want to get flawless, I'm going to have to invest in putting Wendigo on, or Truth Teller, or something in blind nades. I don't want to do that. I want to do a double primary Xenophage run. So that's the reason why. We have other ways on the Titan of doing it. We could have done Suppressor Grenade to suppress the shriekers, but again, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do Sunbreaker, double primary Xenophage. So with this room, we're using every opportunity we can to farm upper heavy. We never use our super once until the very end, but that's after the boss is dead. So there's no use for your super in this entire run, so it's all about farming super. That's why I've got this Phoenix Cradle build on. That's why we've got it on over the Hallowfire Heart, because Hallowfire Heart is amazing, but not with heavy finisher isn't. With heavy finisher it's not giving you any benefit really, because it only give you benefit when you get your super max and you never use it. In this run we need super energy for heavy ammo, so Hallowfire wouldn't work on this build. If you have Hive armament, put on Hallowfire Heart over this. With this double ogre room, what we're going to do is skip the first ogre, which you can do comfortably. I just got stuck on some sort of railing. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have took any damage. But that's how you skip past the adds, so we're reversing the angles so that we can control when we clear the first ogre. Knowing that when we clear the first ogre, we are in position to do damage to the second ogre, so the spawns in this room are kind of weird. So what spawns in the first set, sorry, the second ogre is the defeat of the first ogre. None of the adds around the ogre, the first ogre, triggers the second ogre. It's just the first one. Then the next trigger is when the second ogre has taken so much damage. It'll then spawn in wizards, acolytes, and arc shielded knights. Yeah, so that's how the spawns work in this room. Not only that, we're going to get a cell guaranteed, which is good because the acolytes where the ogre is standing are going to group up, meaning we can use, you know, Xeno to take down that cell, which I couldn't see the cell. I wasn't sure if I generated it. Obviously, you're always guaranteed it. I was just like questioning myself, but the cell was there, so we've done that. As you can see, we cleared out all the acolytes. Make sure that you do a barricade before you clear that first over. That was a mistake I made, but the Concussive Dampener and whatnot saved us. As I said, the damage of the second ogre will then spawn in the wizards. You can skip these wizards, but because we've got Xenophage on and they're so easy, they're a one-tap, we may as well reduce any risk and just take them. Okay. Now with the second ogre, if he starts to go up the stairs like that, you just need to spam Xeno to get that stagger. Okay? It's very important. If you just do, you know, a couple of shots, switch your primary, he may melt you down. So just, if there's any risk, if you're in doubt, just, you know, spam Xeno. Then we got a cell to then clear out all the acolytes surrounding it. We didn't clear out all the acolytes, but most. Now, with the anti-barriers. So there's two here. This is a good angle to take out this knight. We can sort of farm off him as well, like the charge of light and stuff. Now, as I said, the arc shielded knights spawn, which I didn't realise they would push me from there. So you're best off taking out the arc shielded knights first before you deal with the champions. Now, that's what these videos are about learning from mistakes I've maybe made in a run so that you don't. Now here's the thing, like I said, I haven't got arc on, but it doesn't matter, Xenophage will take it. I think it takes 4 shots to take down a shield that's not matched. I think it's 4 shots. Let's see right now. As you can see, 4 shots take down, and we needed a finisher kill, so it worked out. Worked out in the end for that. There is another arc shield knight, but I don't think I ended up taking. Only one of them pushed me. There's another arc shielded knight, a boomer knight, over the other side, but they never push. He only stays over there, which we're not going to be dealing with him. Again, we get a heavy ammo finisher kill because we need to keep on top of our Xenophage ammo. If I was running a different type of build, like primary special heavy with Infernal Whip on my chest plate, I maybe wouldn't have needed the heavy ammo finisher. Okay? But this is more about how to get it done as easy as possible without raid mods, because I'm aware people don't have them. I don't know the stats on it, which I am going to look up. I am going to actually look up the stats on all the raid mods and maybe make a video about it, and maybe some other unique items. I'm just curious myself. I maybe might not make a video on it, but I'm curious myself to see how many people actually have all these mods and whatnot. So now we're just looking for ammo. We also have heavy ammo scavenger on, so every time we pick up a brick we get more ammo for Xenophage, which is crucial. So I highly advise having that on. Obviously we're doing double primary, so there's no reason not to have heavy ammo scavenger on. We can skip the acolytes behind us, there's only 1 or 2. We're done with that room. There is one actual knight up though, which can push behind us, sneak up behind us and actually get a melee on it. And as you saw before, get us weak. So what we want to do is we want to push up in this room as soon as we can. Because the knight will push, but not into this room, not fully anyways. It didn't end up happening to me on this run, but it is a thing that can happen. Now what we're going to do is wait for our finisher move to come up. And then we're full on heavy, which is ideal for the next room. Because there's a lot of champions in this Nightfall, I can't remember how many there is. I haven't counted them up, but there's a lot. A lot of unstoppables, a lot of anti-barriers, so you always want to be, like I say, stocking up on your ammo. Then we'll get the 6 crystals, and then for this part, we're going to use unstoppable rounds to our advantage. Even though these champions are anti-barrier, unstoppable rounds works on them, and any ad in the game. And You know, I'm not saying it works on bosses and whatnot. I think it can on some. But overall, we're going to use stop rounds to. Because the angle on this room, there's 2 anti-barriers. So you want to get the anti-barrier like prepped as soon as possible before they can sidestep into cover. If they sidestep into cover and then put up a shield, you waste an ammo with Xeno and you're wasting time that way. Not only that, we got to sell, so we cleared out all the acolytes around Champ. Then we can work on the next anti-barrier. There is another anti-barrier, sorry, there's 3 anti-barriers in this room before the wizards, and then there's another 2 after that. You'll see all the spawns because I kill every champ, of course, anyways. If we really wanted to and we were weak on ammo, we could literally kill a champ with an auto rifle only because of how good high energy fire is and because of how good this auto rifle is. This auto rifle is a 450 RPM, which isn't as good as the 600 RPMs, but the roll I've got on it is amazing with the Vorpal and whatnot, and the 4th times the charm. So this is literally the best roll you can get on this auto for endgame. Yeah. You can get this roll on the Braytech, like I said, which is gonna be as good because 450, it's got similar range based up, probably more. So you could use that alternatively. Just know you're not gonna get cells from that, but you could have run that with a Void Icolos shotgun, which would make you cells. Only problem with that hand cannon is not very good. So that's the angle to take that champion down. The cell I shot did wake up the wizards. What I should have done, or could have done, is took down the shields first, then done the cell to then take out the wizards. Because the cells are good, but they won't penetrate a match game shield. But that's fine, we can come to this angle here, which is just as easy. Couple of hand cannon shots, and just Xenophage each one. Get the reloads, and then we can go from there. We've got a couple of bricks on the floor. That's what you kind of want, because you want to come back to this room if you want more ammo and stuff, because we have got every finisher on, but that's only like 2 bricks per super. Yeah, so you've got to bear that in mind. It's not like as good as what armaments is going to be. But if you have Hive armaments, put it on if you want to farm this Nightfall. It's actually okay Nightfall to farm. It's not double loot, but it's still better than last week's. It's still better than the attrition corrupted. Even though we've got ammo on the floor, we're going to keep doing our finisher as much as possible, because that just means we've got more ammo overall. We've got ammo full, and then, you know, what we would have, and then ammo on the floor to come back to. Then we're going to deal with all the ads surrounding the champ. We always take it out systematically, so it's generally the ads first, then the champion, because obviously if we start trying to put ourselves in danger while trying to do a shield break, and then like 1 or 2 acolytes hit us, like at the start of the Nightfall, 1 acolyte alone nearly killed me. So you know, things can do a lot of damage to us. Same as always, do with the champion as we are. We're trying to save a bit on ammo. I sometimes go over the top with ammo, with conserving it and stuff. I could have just finished with Xenophage, but we're not speedrunning this Nightfall. We're just showing safe strats and how to easily, you know, deal with all the champions and stuff, and all the angles. The most important thing is getting a good angle on each champion. The unstoppables, they're more you can manipulate the unstoppables more so. Yeah, so this area is probably the best part to take out this champion. There is 2 acolytes that can be annoying and hide around him. You want to take those 2 out first if you can. I end up getting a cell here though. What we're going to do is take that, immediately swap, because I've realised the cell would prep the champion. As you saw, just from 1 acolyte caused me all that grief, but with this cover and the angles and stuff, we're still safe enough to, you know, deal with it. Now with this section, as you'll notice, there's no ads spawning, there's no ogres and whatnot. The reason for that is because I never brought the orb to this room. That's probably better off, because you start bringing the orb to the room, juggling the orb, trying to deal with the champions, trying to deal with all this. It's just you're better off letting the orb run out so you can go and pick it up. And you're dealing with each section individually. You're isolating the champions that way as well. Whereas, you brought the orb here, maybe an ogre saw you while you're trying to deal with the anti-barrier that stands here. It'll be just a mess at that point. Unless you know exactly what you're doing, I wouldn't advise. I was trying to get that champion to get the cell and then shoot the cell quickly to get all the ads, but I didn't do enough damage in time in that stun. There is a war mine cell there, but the second unstoppable has pushed us. Now there's a little randomness. There's little like RNG, I guess, to these champions. Always be aware that more than one can push you. Generally, if they don't see you, they don't. But he must have saw me at some point. There's 3 unstoppables in total in this area. Like I said, they're easy to control. The next one. All three champions push me. I haven't seen this happen before. Generally 2 will push and 1 will stay back, but like I say, things can happen. But that's fine, because we were kind of waiting for that finisher kill anyways. Heal back up on ammo as always. Oh no, sorry, that was the second champion. So yeah, generally there'll be 2 champions that push and then 1 champion stays in the double shrieker room. One thing that I haven't mentioned so far is that we just ING fire, shield break or counter charge or whatever you're running, you can always get a ×2 without having to have extra mods. So we can always use that to our advantage, because obviously if we've only got a ×1 and we kill that champion, we lose charge of life. I end up using this more at the boss, which you'll see. Okay, so that's all the champions dealt with. There's a couple more acolytes left. Try not to leave yourself exposed via the shriekers for too long. It's just because of the modifier, and obviously we haven't got the Hive barrier on, so they wreck even if you've got Hive barrier on, so it doesn't make that much difference for those types of enemies. So we're 100% that, well, we're 90% of the room's clear. The room must be clear before you go in there with an orb. That is 100%. You can wipe if you don't. You leave an acolyte up and they nade you and the shriekers get you, that's a wipe. So here's the section where you can check this room, confirm that there's no acolytes there. Okay. Then we want to pick up the orb, and then now we're going to go for the double dunk. Now this is the part where you are more than likely going to die. Especially on a Sunbreaker. If I'm on a Bubble Titan, or if I'm using suppressor nades, or if I'm using Wendigo, or if I'm using a blinding nade truth teller, I can blind the shrieker, survive it and go on. Okay? But I don't see it being an issue, because you're still going to get platinum, you're still going to get your run done. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference to me, because you're getting the checkpoint anyways. So how to do that is you want to wait for that right side shrieker, because we can't see the left one because I'm on the left pillar. You could have used the right pillar, but I always use the left one for whatever reason. We're waiting for that right shrieker to stop shooting for a brief period of time. When that happens, we push, we get the dunk and we get the trade at the same time. It's pretty consistent to get the trade and get the checkpoint. There's not too much randomness to that. That's more of a speed thing, getting the timing down. That's what that is. Once you get the timing down, you get that every time. So with this section, 2 void shield to deal with. We're not going to use any heavy. They did drop heavy, so I could have. But say they didn't drop heavy for you, try not to, because you want to be going to the boss with maximum heavy. Okay?
Listen, we can use
with this section, we're going to have Curse for All and a solar one-hit target.
Yeah, great idea.
You don't want to kill the solar one-hit target here. That's key to this strat.
Never mind.
You want to keep the wizard up. You also don't want to kill the thrall.
Not yet.
Because we've got machine gun, double machine gun ammo finder on, we can use that to our advantage. So we want to skip this area, which you can consistently do as long as you go to the right side. The wizard will go to the left. You just run and jump over all the thrall. As you saw, I took no damage at all. If you do it right, you're not gonna. If you screw it up, yeah, the thrall can. You know, if they all explode at once, that could be a wipe. But the reason why it's so beneficial to do that is because now the curse will push us into the final boss room, meaning that if you get any heavy drops, they're on the floor for us there for this boss fight, rather than the ammo being in the previous room, which we can't get. So doing it like this is better. Not only that, the solo wanted target, it's obviously on a pathing, and at the end of the path will be when the wanted target enters the boss room. But we can farm up high energy fire off the wizard. As you saw, I got 2 or 3 bricks there, which is going to help me out overall. So before you start the fight itself, which is activated by the crystal, you want to wait for the solar wizard. We're not killing the solar wizard, we're just interested in the solar shield. We used 1 shot there. Be careful not to run over any of your bricks, which I did, meaning I wasted shots. Try not to do what I was doing there. So a good place to DPS the boss is around here. We have tower and barricade on to protect ourselves from the boss somewhat, but ideally you want to melt the boss down. Okay, we've got the 20% damage buff. We're just going to spam as many as possible. I was expecting the boss to teleport there. We just need to do 1 extra shot, but we've got to reload, which is good, meaning we can get a lot more damage on the second phase. You want to aim for a 3rd taken. That will close the boss up, meaning that the boss is not a hassle to you while you deal with the adds and the champions. You don't want to be dealing with adds and champions while the boss is firing at you. You have to separate the two, unless there's no way you're surviving it. There's no way you're going to survive all that stuff at once. So, even though we've got bricks on the floor, we have full super. Like I said, the run does not require a use of a super. So, we're going to get, you know, heavy ammo kills. Not only that, even if we've got full heavy, like, people might not be aware, most people know about this. Same with special finisher. Even if you've got special finisher, you get a special finisher kill, that's still going to generate you an extra brick on the floor. Okay? That's pretty basic, but just in case they didn't know. We got a war mine cell from that, so we're going to use that. And I don't know if it takes out any of the acolytes. I don't think it did. I think it was slightly out of the range, that cell. But we end up generating another cell anyways. So there's 2 good angles to take these acolytes from. There's this area here, and then on top of the mountain area to my right. Okay. What you'll find though is when you're on that mountain area, the 2 acolytes spam nades, and the anti-barrier champion spams the Boomenites, you know, spams the arc move. So you want to take those acolytes out first. We got a cell as well, luckily, meaning we took out all the acolytes on the other side of the room, which helped out. Obviously, even if I hadn't done that, I would have eventually got a cell from 5 adds. So it would have been the same result, just a little bit slower. So this area is pretty good to stand, as the right side anti-barrier can't get us. The middle one can, but that's fine. We can, you know, we've isolated that right side one. So we can handle just 1 firing at us. We got a cell there, but before we do anything, we want to pick up ammo. The cell will also prep the knight to spawn a shield. So I want to get some more ammo, basically because it's important that we have plenty of ammo for the second phase of damage. So this is an example of how you can see I can take this champion out with full ammo. If I got my reload there quicker, like if I reloaded at the right time, that wouldn't have happened. As you can see, I can do massive damage with this auto without having to use any heavy at all. So if I had no heavy on the floor, I would still be able to get through this and kill the champions. Obviously unstoppables don't regen their health, so we'll be able to control them as well. And they don't push you at a certain part of the map for sure as well. It's important that you have 13 bullets in Xenophage. It just helps out with the second phase, because it turns the second phase and locks the boss up right off the bat. And it's just little tricks like that that help out the full thing. So we'll get the anti-barrier, and we'll spam Xenophage, get a quick reload. This is where the reloader perk comes in handy. Then when the boss teleports to middle, just spam as much shots to get as close to a third as you can. That will then close the boss up eventually. We've saved a nade to use our sunspot for those Thrall there. The Thrall are quite deadly because it, I think Chaff gives no radar, but they're quite deadly. If 2 or 3 hit us with a melee, they are deadly. So saving a nade and making a sunspot for those instances is really strong. Because each time the Thrall dies in your sunspot, then that just you know, reactivates the sunspot over and over. So these are the last set of champions we have to deal with. It's going to be 3 unstoppables. 2 will spawn in first, and then when 1 is killed, the next one spawns in. We're waiting for our heavy finisher. Thrall are perfect to do the heavy finisher. The Acolyte are more risky to do so, but we can when there's less ogres, unstoppables around. Okay, so we'll get a stop. Get Acolyte pushes, so we wanted to stop what we were doing, just in case it was more than 1. That's what you find in this room. The further you push up, the more the ads activate, the unstoppables activate. But if you stand right at the back of the map, all the ads stand still, they don't touch you. Okay, so we got our cell, but the cell landed in an awkward spot. So I've done something that I maybe shouldn't have done. I risked my life to try and get the cell. Don't always do that. If you're going to risk your life to get a cell, don't. That's the key thing. But we got a stun on that ogre. It wasn't that threatening actually, it was okay, not so bad. But that is a key point though, don't risk your life just to get a cell. Because, you know, wiping is not what you want to do. Since it's a longish nightfall as it is. So, if an unstoppable does push you, you can control them by just stopping them and coming back behind this speaker. Okay? Now we're lowish on ammo, lowish, so we're just gonna conserve on that by using our auto rifle on the unstoppable, which does suffer from range drop off. Even with this, even you know, with a high range stat auto like this, it does still suffer a little bit in this. That's why you want the highest range stat on an auto you can for, you know, for nightfalls like this. In my opinion, more useful than Ariana's, just because it frees up my exotic slot. You know, Ariana's a fantastic weapon, and a lot of people comment on recent videos and say, you do realize, you know, Ariana's is in the game. It's like, yeah, I do realize that because I was using it since it first came out. I got the catalyst week 1 with Gamma Prime. You know, the 50 matches or whatever it was, something absurd to get the catalyst. But I realised that weapon, obviously it's designed for nightfalls in mind. It's designed for anti-barriers. The thing is, once you've used it after so long, it just becomes gimmicky. Although it's really useful, real powerful. Yeah. But all exotics should be able to put these mods in. Yeah. You know, hard light should have anti-barrier in it. If they'd done that, like when I used Outbreak Perfected with the Unstoppable mod, people love that because I can use an exotic primary, and it's a strong one, you know, and it gives a variety to loadouts. We can't just keep using Ariana's Vow for 2 years. Like, oh, anti-barrier, this is the best weapon for that. Like, no, all exotics should be able to put that like a mod in. So maybe you have to assign Overload to one, you know, Unstoppable to this one, and what have you. But I don't know if they're going to do anything about that. They haven't mentioned. But it would make exotic primaries useful. Like Hard Light would be so useful in Nightfalls because you could not only use it for match game, you could use it for whatever you can put in it. So if you could put anti-barrier in it, it'd be ideal. Put Overload in it, Not as good, but it'll at least be a mod. A champion mod to put in. That's what they should do, ultimately. But whether they do end up doing it, I don't know. So we're gonna prep this last ogre. We're making sure that all acolytes are killed. That's very important. If you don't do that, you could wipe on the next phase. Because one solar nade from an acolyte and one or two thrall hitting you, which is a lot of thrall that's spawning, that could be a wipe there. To eliminate that risk, you take out all acolytes from each phase. You always clear the room before the next phase, always. Now we're going to come back to this section here. We're going to get a reload, so we want as much Xeno loaded before we start damage, which the trigger is the ogre, of course. Then we're just going to spam Xenophage. We've got Charge of Light, which I forgot to mention. Right, I got a ×2, then we lost 1 times because we killed the ogre, but we still had Charge of Light to get more damage for DPS. Then we come to this location, do a nade. We do a nade. We then get some warrior to proc, and then all the thrall can die in our sunspot. Not only that, which I forgot to mention, you get a damage buff to weapons and stuff. Some warrior. But overall, it's a very, very good build, especially with Rasputin, especially with Xenophage. So when we're confident that all the thrall are down, they're not infinite, they do eventually stop. We're then going to take out the Void Wizard in middle. This is where Void comes in a lot. This is why I haven't got Arc on. Yeah? As the Void and Solar are more important than Arc. You only get Arc with those initial knights, you know, in that double ogre room. After that, no more Arc. So this is where the Void comes in handy, because the Wizards, if you don't have a Void weapon on, it's going to be a little bit harder. But Xenophage, like I said, can 4-shot a match game shield. So you could still get around it if you didn't have Void on. So right now what we're trying to do is pick up this relic. For whatever reason I can't. At times it's just trying to pick up relics, man. We got it, and then we're going to drop the relic, forget about it. And then we're going to come to this location here so that we are in cover from the boss. But we can see the wizards. We're just waiting for an angle. When we get an angle, we're going to farm up Charge of Light. We're going to do that twice on the first wizard. So we'll get a Charge of Light, wait for the Void Shield to come back. The boss can't hit us from here. Get our ×2. Obviously we'll lose a stack, but we'll gain a stack back on the next Void Wizard. Very important that we go, you know, it's not essential, but it just helps to get the final stand kill. Okay? Without any hassle. Now we'll get a reload, make sure your Xenophage is reloaded, that's crucial. And then we're going to go around for the relic. So, this is very important because we're not on a bubble titan, we're not on, you know, a hunter to go invis and stuff. The way to get this dunk without dying, because the mod void and aerial damage is increased, this is a deadly part to be getting the dunk and survive it. But there's a way around it. This boss works on an 8-tick mechanic. You can see the little void blast coming. So the ticks just started now, so I'll be counting up in my mind. So it'll be 1, 2, you know, etc. I'm counting up, but while I'm looking at the platforms in front of me, when it gets to 8 tick, I run for it. I also jump at an angle so the void attacks can't hit me slightly. The boss basically knocks off after the 8 tick. So we get the dunk with less than half health, but we're not in the red. We just spam Xenophage, and it's done. That's how you do the final stand and the final dunk on this Nightfall. So that was the solo 1080 Master Nightfall, getting the platinum rank without any pinnacle weapons or raid mods. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Make your way topside. You've done well.